Welcome to Inspired by JimmyL, a podcast that inspires freedom through authenticity. Take our shows and use them, honey. Use them to listen to your gut, your intuition, and allow them to give you the courage to be free in every area of your life. We believe that success and happiness is a personal thing. Now redefine it on your terms. This show is designed to give you practical tips from realistic people who have decided to no longer keep up with the Joneses. Now, your intuition is your roadmap, but this show is here to give you more courage to simply listen. And to add, we are not pleading for ratings and reviews, but please be sure to subscribe and share every single show if you are inspired. I'm your host, Warr Mize. Now let's get into the show. I saw one of your old interviews talking about your wife being pregnant and you not wanting to cook. How did you get through that? What did you end up doing? I'm just curious.
I'm sorry. My wife being pregnant and I what? What did you
Not
say?
wanting to cook.
Oh man.
Yeah. How did you get through that? What happened?
I haven't. You know what I did? What I do is I know me. And how I get through something is one, we got to know ourselves.
Yes.
And is what we're expecting from either our partner or ourselves reasonable, doable, and fair for who we know they are and I am.
Yeah.
So therefore, this is what I did. I hate cooking. I hate it with a passion. Not to mention running a business all day. My wife works all day. Then when we come home, I have kids that need to go other places. So I'm like Ubering them around to their basketball, some an hour away. So the opportunity to cook is really hard. So what my wife and I did is this. On Sunday evenings, we as a family participate in cooking a bunch of different meals, a whole lot of food.
Oh.
So that way it gets the kids off their phones. It gets us all in one space. It gets us doing something hands-on. In a different way. And hopefully that tradition winds up being passed on to their kids. During the week, I hate cooking so much, I will go and buy a meal where we can go out. And that's going to be, that's more reasonable, realistic, and fair for who I am and what we're going to do. It's my wife out, we get out, we get the date, and that's just the compromise right there. I hate it. I hate it.
That's totally where I was going with that. My husband and I went and because we both hate cooking too, and we're extremely, extremely busy. His career is taking off, and mine is doing its own thing, and it's just been outrageously crazy. But thank you. It's been interesting. It's been a roller coaster ride, but in a good way. But one thing we found, and they do not sponsor me whatsoever, but HelloFresh is freaking amazing. I'm like, it comes on Sunday, and we only do like 2 to 3 meals a week. But it's exactly what you just said. It's an opportunity for us to get rid of our phones. Whatever's going on at work, we'll deal with it tomorrow, or we'll deal with it once we're done. It was amazing time, and I was definitely going to suggest that to you. But obviously, you've already done it. So.
Because sometimes, like you mentioned, like people don't make the positive changes or put things in, is because we're doing things that are just not in my want-to zone. Like I already don't want to do it. So to do it in a way that doesn't make sense for me to, like, if you want to work out and you want to lose weight, but you hate the gym, then you're punishing but you rather go to the mall and you like window shopping, then take your laps around the mall, get your steps in the mall, do something like that that's just going to make sense for who you are. Yeah. I wouldn't put unrealistic expectations of what I want or what I think I need on my wife and demand her to give it to me.
Yeah.
So if I wouldn't do it to her, I don't do it to me. But I do something that's healthy enough and in my wheelhouse of want to, because that's the one thing. We could talk all day about the things that leaders can do and should do at work and in our personal lives, but nobody can make yourself doing this. You got to want to do it. You got to want to do it. A client years ago when I was a therapist, if you don't want to, my first session wasn't about the issue. What are you here for? What do you want to get out of this experience? Have you had therapy before? What did you think about it? Be honest. My shoulders are broad. I can take whatever you feel about it. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? How do you want this to be? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to change? If at all.
Yeah.
Because if at all. And if you do, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your willingness level? You might want to change an 8, but your willingness to do something about it right now is a 3. Okay, great. Now we know. And this is how we can start slow since you don't want to, but you're here. So what do you want to get out of it? Same thing with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm not to, totally not to name drop because I just really know what this is, but I interviewed Dr. Dennis Kimbrough last month. And I was speaking to him about how I'm really kind of disappointed in our leaders. And he says he's actually working on a book now too, but dealing with leadership. And he said, he was like, Jimmy, there's different types of leadership. There's different levels to leadership. And he said, what you're looking for is an Obama-style leader, a leader that's going to step up and that's going to take command, to take control and make a definite impact. He was like, but all leaders are not that way. And he's like, you have to understand, and which is what his book is about, is if we knew the beginning stories of those leaders, we never thought that they would have become leaders. And so he was speaking about, hello? So I was like, but just to wrap it back around, like it's being able to have conversations with people right where they are. And it's something I'm working on. It is so difficult. Trust me, I just found out about this last month. But it is something I am working on so harshly. And but so to hear you say similar things of what you're doing or what you've done in a therapy lesson is trying to get to where that person is right there, like where they are today, and then building on that. And so, but anyway, I love that. It's my whole point of saying all of that. And so, but anyway, so what is your definition of success and leadership? Like, what the hell does that look like for you, Andre Young? Like, what does that look like?
Well, a few different words. One is we want to make an impact. We want to have influence. We want to protect, and we want to build. From an influence standpoint, from an impact standpoint, let me start with impact. When I leave someone, or you leave someone as a leader, whether it's 30 days, a year, 20 years, will you be significant in when they look back in their life? Is it something that they remember of how you were that made them want to be better, or that they admire? When you walk into a room, or you ever been somewhere, you've been networking, whatever it is, and somebody walks into a room and you say, ooh, who is that? I don't know what they do or who they are, but they're somebody. They immediately make you curious. They immediately make you want to follow. And then when you see that on a day in and day out basis, that's impact. And it's something that you might have said, or how you are, or what you did. So impact. Influence. Can you influence people to be better than to be what they want to be what they don't even think that they're capable of? Can you? One thing that I do on leadership, and I had a guy share this with me, and I said, can I please steal that? Because, and Mark Owens, if you're out there, he is a coach. He's actually a basketball coach. He was so significant. He made such an impact on me with this one little thing. Okay. So from an influence standpoint, do me a favor, Jimmy, raise your hand. Now raise it higher. That's leadership. That's coaching. Because from an influence standpoint, some people are going to raise their hand low, some people are going to raise their hand high, but no matter where they raise your hand, can a great leader influence you to raise it higher? That's it right there. My son, I take him to a personal basketball coach, okay? It is very atypical for you to practice and move the same way you would in your driveway than when that coach is in front of you. Absolutely. When that leader is in front of you. You're going to move a little harder. You're going to do that. It's hard to push yourself to that level all the time. So can leadership do that? And can you influence them to do that when you're not around? So protection. I worked in some organizations, and one place I thought I would retire from. I loved the job at that time. Organizationally, things changed, and we were the least protected people on the planet. I mean, we were guilty until proven innocent.
You mean within the organization?
Within the organization. Yeah. It was just awful. So can we protect our people sometimes from themselves? Yeah. And can we protect them from the other things, or customers, or all of these different things? That whole customer's always right. Bull crap. No, they're not. No. They're not. So every now and then, just like there has to be a landmark fire, Sometimes we have to do some landmark protection of our people because they're people.
Yeah.
So being able to protect. When I do this for high schools, I usually lead with this story. I went to Philly. All my family's down there, and I'm driving. I see this little boy, hurrying after his mom. He could have been no older than 3 years old, and he's crying, and the mom is just letting this boy have it. And I got my windows up. I don't even know what she's saying. I don't want to hear what she's saying. I felt so awful for this little boy that could not protect himself.
Yeah.
Okay? That little boy becomes your student.
Mm-hmm.
That little boy one day is going to be sitting in your class, unprotected all his life. And then here you are beating him up more about this and that and this and that. And then that same person that was sitting in that seat is going to get a job one day. How he or she has seen the world, you have no clue. You might be the first person ever that spoke kind words, spoke their language, gave a crap about them, protected them.
Yeah.
So being, protection.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
You don't know somebody's story.
God.
You don't know somebody's story.
I just had a conversation with because I'm big on this, and I love my team. They support me like never before, and I sent an email out to all of them, just asking them about appreciation. Like, what do you appreciate most about your team member? Just pick one. Send it to me in a side email. And so everyone sent everything back except for one person, and that particular person stated that she did not appreciate them. So of course my red flags went off. I sat down with her and did a one-on-one conversation with her just to kind of see where her mind was. And the question was asked, like, what was the last time someone appreciated you? The last person was me.
Wow.
I said, so outside of me, who else? No one.
Right.
So it was like, what about your family? She was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Your husband, kids, what about childhood? Like anything? She was like, no.
Wow.
I was like, and when I say I was sitting there and I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I've worked with her for years.
Yeah.
Like, she's been on my team for years. And I was like, I feel horrible. I never knew any of this.
Right.
But just to have back to your point there, I'm like, you never know someone's story. You never know their beginning. And in that moment, you know what I mean? In that moment of that kid, I mean, that is extremely fearful. Because that kid was an adult.
It hurt my soul to watch it. It hurt me, especially doing what I do and speak how I'm big on language.
Yeah.
Big on language. And you can tell a lot about somebody by the language they use. And I don't mean the curse words and things like that, but the other language, just the regular everyday language that people use. And, I look at some bully words that we all use. But, if, can't, try, just, only, should, deserve. Those are trigger words for me. The last one that you have mentioned about is building. How do we build this person up? But are we building them up the way we want, we're guessing, or that we know? I said, don't tell me what you think. I want to know what you know. And the Leader 7 makes it so easy for us to know. All you're doing is sliding them a piece of paper. I made it so simple where you can send it in the email. They have to pick a top one or two. They have to. Now you know how to speak everybody's language that's there. So maybe the woman on your team, maybe she would have picked recognition and affirmation and respect. Maybe she would have picked those. Maybe she would have picked something else, but you would have known it. So now you get to speak it that way. Instead of finding out by happenstance or years later, or you never know what's going on. Find out their language, and then as the CEO or the top dog, you don't have to know everybody's. I mean, it's helpful, but it's hard. I mean, that's
Absolutely
hard. But all of the leaders know their pockets of people. I said, you can laminate this thing, stick it right on your desk, however you choose to do it. Now, pick one or two people to do it with a week, one person a day to speak it casually to. You don't think that makes a difference?
It does. It really does. It makes a major difference.
Yeah, it's amazing what people are going through and what kind words, but more importantly, the words they want to hear, need to hear, and benefit most from hearing from you are. And we have that. We could do that. This is simple. It takes 30 seconds.
Okay, honestly, this was another one. It was so difficult for me to try to compress this, to try to get you all of the tips and all of the tools and just all of the advice that Andre had to offer in this particular clip. I could not minimize them. I just couldn't. They were way too important. So I really hope you go back and, at the very least, like pick up on how we treat people. And if you're wanting to learn how to help somebody else, you have to learn the language that they speak. That was one of the most important things that I found out from this clip. You have to learn the person that you're speaking to, the team that you're leading, you have to learn their language. You want to help them, you got to learn them. At the end of the day, no matter what you do, stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. They are broke as hell. So stop. Learn to live life authentically you. Period. And at the end of that day, leaders, let's step the hell up and lead. I'll see you guys first thing in the morning on Instagram.